easy making that many outcalls.
That's why we're gonna use the airport. All those different payphones will make a trace impossible. We can split up and stay mobile.
What could go wrong?
Right.
Please record your message at the tone.
I am calling to confirm that your order of red orchids will be delivered tomorrow by midnight.
This is the Great Beyond Travel Agency. We will get back to you as soon as humanly possible.
I am calling to confirm that your order of red orchids will be delivered tomorrow by midnight.
Operator.
Jax.
Niobe, is that you?
I'm not sure I can talk right now, Jax.
Niobe, listen to me. They got Axel. Soren led everybody in after him. It's bad, Niobe, real bad.
Where?
The airport.
What? We're at the airport.
Please, you gotta help us. Agents have cornered Soren. They're moving Axel to the tarmac. If they get him in the air, I'll have to pull the plug.
What the hell happened down here? Thought you said be discreet.
It wasn't me.
It's Soren. Agents pinched one of his crew. Now they've come in to try to rescue him.
Here.
Yeah. Lucky for him, not so lucky for us.
It's Axel.
Shit. What do you want to do?
See if you can help Soren. I'll go after Axel.
Well, good luck.
I'm certainly due for some.
Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to the End of the Matrix commentary. Taking control of Ghost this time around, who is, currently in an airport where he is, well, I mean, airport security is tight, that's all I'm gonna say on that matter. I will say, though, like, I mean, this is one of my personal, I wouldn't say favorite levels in the game, but it's a level that I do enjoy a lot, even if I do think it does get a little bit long-winded at times. Yeah, this is kind of applicable for both scenarios, but again, the reason why I am showing off Ghost's scenario here as opposed to Niobe's is that this is a little bit of what I was talking about earlier in the previous parts, where, how do I put this? The two stories do diverge in terms of what they have to do. I mean, as you saw in the cutscene, Niobe's going to go after Axel, while Ghost is going to rendezvous with Soren and his team. So, yeah, the stories do differ slightly, but you go through the general same level layout, if that makes any sense. Again, the game doesn't really do this all that often, just for a few specific segments that I will, showcase a couple points of in this commentary, but on the whole, it's basically the same sort of layout that you'd be traveling through, except with a couple of minor areas that I think Niobe goes through. I don't know. The point is, I'm just using this as an excuse to show off Ghost, and as you can see here, not really too much different. I mean, I think animations might be a bit different, but, you know, same sort of control scheme and layout. I don't think any of Ghost's moves are any different from Niobe's either, but, you know. That's probably just more so down to the fact that this game was kind of rushed, and well, I guess maybe even if they wanted to, they couldn't have programmed a unique moveset. Well, I mean, I guess maybe not either, because, I mean, in the Matrix Path of Neo, you know, Morpheus' team, and actually, in a lot of the missions where you teamed up with some of the captains, they had the general same sort of moveset that you had. So, yeah, no real changes, I guess, but I mean, I guess that comes with the fact that they were all taught by the same sort of programs to do the moves in terms of Kung Fu and shit, so, who knows. One thing I will say, though, is that, well, it's just some decent third-person shooter action, really. You know, taking down security, cops, all that good stuff. So, yeah, if you ever had any frustrations with airport security, and I'm pretty sure you have if you've ever been airborne before, well, consider this the ultimate relaxation game. You know, you can just shoot up the airport security that have given you some grief, told you to take off your shoes and belt, watch, and have to check outside. You asshole! Yes, indeed, this is the ultimate relaxation game. A lot better than what for 3R was with it, because that level was shit. And the reward for beating that level was also terrible, because, well, story things that make me angry. I guess, to go a little bit deeper into the level itself, depending on certain elements, what am I thinking of? I was kind of distracted by the Powerade machine. But I mean, you know, you do get nice bits of dialogue from, you know, people working around the place. Similar to what you had with the post office, actually, if you bother to, you know, stealth it up and wait around a little bit. I don't know, hear people talking about their daily lives, like, I believe in the post office there was also talk about, you know, toner, the printer, and all that sort of stuff. Again, not much, but it adds a nice bit of, you know, life outside of the Matrix, which, well, you kind of need, because, you know, for a simulated reality, you kind of want a little bit of reality in there, you know? But again, I'm just waffling on random bullshit, really. In terms of which side of the story I think I find a little bit more preferable, I'd say Ghost, but that's only because of a certain, fight that you have a little bit later. Well, not even necessarily because the fight itself is that good, but mainly because I really like the music, so, yeah. It's also another musical piece by Chris Verena, so, you know, only good things can come of it. I don't know, I think it's just mainly the general aesthetics here that just really sell it to me. I mean, the visual style might be very dull, but I mean, I don't know. I think in terms of what Enter the Matrix does to kind of varietize itself in terms of its aesthetics, it's enough. Like, I mean, the graphics themselves feel very alpha-built, as I mentioned previously, but the fact that they vary up the settings so much is a great help, because, you know, even if your visuals are very, basic, you know, having a nice bit of variety in locations can help to mitigate a lot of the, you know, tedium, so to speak. And this, yes, it's this area right here where we get to the delicious, sexy music by Chris Verena. You can hear a helicopter outside. Yes, it is a SWAT helicopter. We're trapped, we have no way out, and basically we've got to take it down. And of course, if we can't hear it already, we will soon be getting to the very delicious piece, and this boss fight was actually, well, I mean, on test playthroughs, this was actually a lot more difficult than I remember it being. I died a fair few times in the test playthrough, but then again, that's why you test play things and not just fuck around, because that is very embarrassing. It's actually kind of similar to the helicopter thing you have on the rooftop mission of the Matrix Path of Neo, like, you know, where the famous bullet dodge happens. I will say, though, that this does have a better track than what they used in the Path of Neo, but I don't know. I'm enjoying this track too much, man. Now, I mean, in terms of real strategy that I can give you, basically hide behind the walls, wait until its shots are done, and just shoot down the chopper. No fuss, no muss, bada bing, you do the thing. And it is also beneficial to go into first-person mode, which this game does have. You can't move or anything, so it isn't really true first-person shooter sort of thing. But, I mean, it does help you make your shots slightly more accurate. I mean, I guess it's really only more useful for that segment in particular because you kind of need it, because the auto aim is kind of screwy, for the lack of a better phrase, so I don't know. Like, I mean, I will say that in a general gameplay sense, I think Enter the Matrix is possible. Very, very, very barely scraping past, like, the C mark of possible. But I mean, considering the game's very rushed development cycle from what it could have been had it had the time to really flesh itself out, I don't know, I'm sanguine about this. I don't know whether that's just more so my Matrix fandom just kind of covering that with a bit of bias, or if the game is just genuinely okay. I don't know, like, I mean, I was actually looking back to my review of the game over, like, several years ago now, and I will still agree that I don't think the game is necessarily good, but I mean, there was effort being put into this. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Anyway, we are actually also coming up to another one of my favourite segments, because I mean, like I said, throughout, and I think it's also thanks by proxy to the game's very short, like, mission structure, in the sense that you're kind of doing levels in little bits rather than, you know, long stretches. You get a lot of different varietized settings because, I guess mainly down to the fact that the PS2's draw distance was rather limited. You know, you could feasibly get a lot more levels with variety in this, you know, sort of style, which I kind of appreciate. And this is also the part where we slightly convene with Soren's team, just mainly down to the fact that we can see them on the opposite side of the hall, opening the door, and basically being a more reliable version of the Rogue Witch program for the Matrix Path of Neo. It was like, oh, found it, see you later, Neo, bitch. But I got ahead of myself. I keep on talking about the Matrix Path of Neo so much, it's like a recurring thing with me. I don't know why, it's just a game that I love a lot. But then again, I'm talking about other games apart from Enter the Matrix. I don't know, like, I mean, I guess maybe a drawback to this level in particular is that while there is enough to keep you invested, there are seldom few set pieces that I think you can really say, oh, this is that level, or this is this level. I mean, there are two in particular with this, and a couple more exciting set pieces at the end, which I'll be saving for the next part, but I don't know, it's mainly when you get to Spartan sections of gameplay like this, where unless of course the core gameplay is solid enough, which Into the Matrix, it is relatively. I don't know, you just don't really feel, like, invigorated, if that makes any sense.
Ghost, it's gonna take too long to backtrack. There's a window that you can use to get out of there and onto the main terminal roof. If you can't reach it, maybe there's something to climb on.
And another track that I absolutely love. And also a very nice looking setting with the revolving restaurant. I've never actually been to one of these sorts of places before, but for any who have, what's it like? Is the view nice? Well, I mean, I suppose it'll probably depend on the area, but I mean, it's rather snazzy, man. I like the lighting here, and it's, again, this is another survival challenge like the helicopter mission beforehand, but we have another track playing, which is actually pretty damn catchy. I love this song, man. I believe it's another one by Fluke, or possibly Juno Reactor, if I remember right. I'll double check a little bit later, but the point is, I love this song, the level is, well, fun. I don't know, like, I mean, this is the sort of thing that I think does well to spice up gameplay. Like, I mean, it's weird for me to say this, but, like, I mean, the right combination of aesthetics, music, and, well, I guess just setting, really. It does a lot to really spice up your game time, which would otherwise just be very paltry and par for the course, like we saw with the corridor sections previously. I don't know. Enter the Matrix does mitigate that with its very short mission structure, but I mean, you know, when it spices it up with levels like this, it reminds you why you love this stage, man. Just... I don't know, man, this track is just so sick, dude. And again, basically what you're going to be doing for this level is, well, generally just waiting for you to find a way to reach that ladder, but you can only reach it using either one of the tables or the piano. And, well, the silver piano shall guide your way. Kinda wish there was a little bit of an interactive thing to play it a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, they did that for the Powerade stuff, so, you know, it could have been fun. Again, you shouldn't worry too much, because auto-aim is generally quite reliable, with the sole exception of the helicopter boss fight. And, well, until you can wait for it to get in the right position, it's just kind of a waiting game. But you get to listen to a pretty cool track, so it all works out in the end, dudes.
We lost some time in there. Where are they now?
Soren and his men have been cornered. Gate T-28 in the annex.
How's Niobe doing?
She's not dead yet.
And now back to the boring shit, which is ostensibly kill guards, run around a large, sparse airport, which I'm pretty sure was only there so it could be used in the cutscene where, you know, Niobe and Ghost were making the calls. Yeah. I don't know, like, I mean, this is meant to tie into the Matrix Reloaded, so I mean, I guess it does make sense that Niobe and Ghost would be the ones to make the call for the captain's meeting, but... I mean, it does enough to spice it up story-wise with, you know, Soren's team being in trouble and, you know, Niobe and Ghost being in the neighborhood deciding to go off and save them. And that, I mean, I guess even that in and of itself does also kind of add a little bit of a tragic element, because if you remember what happens in the Matrix Reloaded, yeah, Soren and his team later die because, well, Bane. And no, not the Batman villain, I'm talking about Bane, as in the guy who was possessed by Agent Smith and basically, well, unplugged them by destroying their ship. So, yeah, kind of makes this pointless, sort of. Well, I mean, I guess, I really gotta check the release dates. I mean, I know the Enter the Matrix was released on May 15th, 2003, but, kind of curious as to when the Matrix Reloaded came out. It must have been after the Matrix Reloaded came out, because, I mean, this contains a trailer for Revolutions, which, I mean, I know both movies were in production at roughly the same time, but, I don't know. I guess either way, it adds a nice bit of character development, well, character development in quotation marks, I guess. At least a little bit more screen time for you to at least give a shit about Soren and his team, since they do help you on the mission. And, you know, for what little time they're there, they get a lot more development than what, well, the movies gave them. Which I suppose also leads into another point, really, is that, with, I guess the advantage of having, like, cross-platform material, like, you know, a video game movie tie-in sort of thing, is that they can use it to add a little bit of mythology to the universe. But I mean, it's a very fickle and tenuous line to walk, because I mean, if you make something too important, then, you know, you ultimately end up saying, oh, well, you should have watched or read the comic or the manga or play the video game to understand what goes on in this movie. Which I think, especially in this day and age of, like, internet culture, appeals more specifically towards, like, you know, mega, hyper, whatever, superfan kind of people, rather than a general audience who will get quite lost. I don't know, it's a very weird line to walk, and something that I guess you could possibly fix up with a few throwaway lines of dialogue, I guess, or perhaps even just, you know, a quick recap from one of the characters. I don't know. I mean, I do have my problems with it in and of itself, like, two biggest examples that come to mind, actually, are Infamous and Devil May Cry 3, where they basically saved Dante and Virgil's reunion after so many years in a prequel manga, when I think it should have been in the game to begin with. And in the case of Infamous, it was basically the tie-in comic to Infamous 2, where they kind of resolved all the first game's villains? I don't know. To me, that's kind of the part that's frustrating, but I think Enter the Matrix, it handles it rather well, because Niobe and Ghost, they have their roles in the movies, but at the same time, though, nobody's gonna say that Sparks or Ghost or Niobe were exactly that important, because, well, the most they really do in the movies in general is have some decent interaction with Morpheus, and, well, give Neo and Trinity their ship so they can go to the Machine City, so, I don't know. I guess this is also part of what I was talking about several years back in the Matrix Path Neo commentary, in the sense that they could use a lot of the expanded material, like, you know, books, manga, comics, or, you know, video games to, well, really just kind of expand the universe, which I guess they kind of did with, you know, Enter the Matrix and some of the comics they had running in the early 2000s. But I mean more specifically, like, you know, just kind of continuing it, really. I mean, I keep on hearing rumors that they want to make, like, a Matrix 4, like a Morpheus prequel movie, but I don't think you really need that, because at the end of the day, you're just sort of rehashing what we already know, and I think in terms of what's more interesting material to explore in the Matrix, it's basically, with the Matrix's history, you know, with several different versions, as well as exploring the lives of, you know, programs, some of the philosophy you could possibly, you know, exempt from the machines trying to learn from humans. And there was actually this one short from the Animatrix that actually kind of delved into that, which, it was, like, very visual and very, very trippy, but I believe, and again, this might just be my takeaway from the whole thing, but I believe what the point of it was essentially what would happen if a machine became emotionally attached towards humans, which upon after seeing them die, it felt sorrow. I don't know, I might be misremembering it because it has been quite a number of years since I last watched the Animatrix in full, but, you know, those are the sort of concepts that I think are worth exploring for future material, not just kind of piggybacking off what the general audience knows about the Matrix. I don't know, I suppose that might also highlight a bit of a problem with, you know, pop culture entertainment in this day and age, especially as a connection towards, like, major superfans does kind of make itself known, in the sense that, in the attempt to market towards general audiences, they just want to go towards the most recognizable imagery rather than, well, making some imagery of their own that is memorable in its own right, but also relatively loyal within, you know, the rules and mechanics of what the universe sets up. I don't know, it's a very difficult thing and very depending on execution and context, but I don't know, that's just my 2 cents on it. Well, maybe we can just draw some bullets into people and call it a day.
I thought you guys needed help.
We do. If they get Axel off the ground, he's dead.
Find them.
Binary, you cover the door. We'll take this passage and double back into the terminal to find Axel. Ghost, can you cover us from the tower?
I got it.
Now, what you're about to see here is by far what I would like to say is the most rushed part of the game. In the sense, and again, I really want you to take a look at the visuals here, because, yeah, some cutscenes are very clearly unfinished, as you will soon see, and the textures, well, especially from models that are very far away, the game really didn't account for. Yeah, it is gonna look fucking terrible. I mean, for the time being, we're just playing sniper rifle here and just taking out the police for Soren's team. But don't worry, soon we'll start to converge with Niobe's pathway, which, well, we'll be getting to next part. I neglected to showcase most of Niobe's levels here, because she does have her own pathway to travel through in terms of the airport. It's just that I didn't really feel like that was that important, because mainly Niobe's shtick is rescuing Axel, so I might as well show the part where she, you know, rescues Axel. Again, for most of Niobe's part in this level, she's basically just playing a game of cat and mouse between the agents, you know, moving Axel to different places. and ostensibly, well, a cat and mouse game that I feel like is kind of pointless, so let's give Ghost a bit of spotlight. Not really much else to say, just playing sniper rifle, heading back to the roof, and bearing witness to these lovely, lovely cutscenes like you're about to see right here. Enjoy, kiddies.
Where are you?
We're in the control tower. Are you okay?
I'm not dead. Axel might not be so lucky. I need your help. There's a Gulfstream taxiway F12. Axel is on board.
I see it.
Stop it.
Might be able to shoot at the tires.
Thanks. I'm heading there now.
Smooth and gentle on the trigger.
Here it comes. Oh, they're shutting the door. By God, look at that fucking alpha build level. That is... Look, I mean, I don't... again, having no programming or coding experiences myself, I really don't want to make fun here, but... That's fucking pathetic. Like, really, Warner Brothers, Wachowski's, Shiny Entertainment... Just, take more time on that. For the love of God, just take more time on that, please. Well, you know, considering that it's in cutscene mode now, I guess it looks, actually, you know what, no, I'm gonna retract that statement, it looks terrible. Okay, look, it looks slightly better from here, but I mean... God, that is... Yeah, and I don't mind talking over this cutscene because it's just them taking Axel away and then Agent Man turns back into a human. Fuck it. Like, I mean... If Shiny Entertainment had more time, they could have made that look decent. And especially with an upcoming cutscene, because we do have a slight bit of gameplay, which is why I'm still waffling on. Yeah, this is just... It's just sad, man. Anyway, you have... well, again, the helicopter doesn't take too much to take down, as you will soon see, but, yeah, don't waste your time, because you kinda gotta get out, because that thing will whittle down your health like nothing else. Get out of there! No!
Did you get Axel? No. That last word is on another channel. My team's trying to locate him. We need a car.
There. Let's go.
You go after the plane. We'll distract the SWAT team.
Godspeed.
So, will Ghost escape the police? Will Niobe rescue Axel? And will that agent ever recover from his embarrassing death? Find out next time on the Enter the Matrix commentary. So, on that note, I'm Solidus-Skully, keeping new metal, and next time we well, we'll basically see all of that. So, well, let's see Niobe jump out of her car and watch the car sadly pass away. Whatever, see you next time, dudes and dudettes. Bye-bye.